All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we've got some news for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We just got the version 1.1.2 patch that we're going to go over. I'm going to talk about all of the updates in that. The duplication glitch has been patched, but there has been another that has been found. I'm also going to talk about future Zelda Tears of the Kingdom updates, as well as content, things that you can expect to roll out for this game in the near future. We also have some updated sales numbers for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and we're going to talk about what the future holds for the franchise. Will the next Zelda game take place on the same Hyrule, or are we going to get a completely new experience? So starting things off, we got a new update to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with the version 1.1.2 update that released on May 25th. Now this update included a lot of changes, quality of life updates, and of course the duplication glitch. So the patch notes say, and I quote, audio bug fixes fixed an issue where the sound would play in an extremely high volume in certain conditions. Now this is a problem that I've had on this game for quite a bit. I thought it was an issue with my Nintendo Switch maybe, but it looks like this was indeed an issue that was in the game, and it has been updated with 1.1.2. Now, some of the additional fixes, they fixed an issue in the main quest line, camera work in the depths, where players could not progress beyond a certain point. Downloading the update will allow players to proceed past that point. And then of course they gave the typical several issues have been addressed to improve the gameplay experience. Now this means a lot of things. They did some optimization to the overall quality of the game. I'm sure they've optimized some areas so the FPS doesn't dip as much. And of course they patched a duplication glitch that a lot of people were using in the 1.1.2 update. But lucky for you guys, there has been another duplication glitch found in Tears of the Kingdom that indeed works on patch 1.1.2. Now the current easiest method for the new duplication glitch that I found on Reddit is you essentially have to equip, like, let's say a diamond or something that you want to duplicate on a sword or just like a base weapon. Like, let's say you take a stick and then you put a diamond on the stick, you save the game, and then you go to throw the item, and as soon as you throw it, you have to press the plus button to go back into your menu, and then you just reload your save, and then the weapon should be duplicated. After that, you go over to Pelison in Terrytown, and he will separate the fused materials, which duplicates the base weapon as well as the new item that you fuse to it. Check the link in the description for another article as well as another method for fusing the materials, but that's essentially how you do it. The duplication glitch is back into the game. I know a lot of people were really upset at Nintendo for removing the duplication glitch in 1.1.2 because on one hand, like, you're getting better performance, you're getting some bug fixes squashed, but they're also patching out things that I know a lot of people would like to utilize. Now, I personally wouldn't be glitching in my first playthrough because, like, let's be honest, we waited 6 years for this game to come out, and I am not one to break my economy in my first playthrough. I will be starting another playthrough and I'll totally break the economy on that, but for now, in my first playthrough, I won't be duplicating. Now, the only issue about the duplication glitch nowadays is in order to get the fused item, you have to spend 20 rupees from Pelison. There's no way to currently duplicate without spending any type of rupees, so if you don't have rupees saved up, then it might be a little bit costly. But let's say if you're just like duplicating a diamond, then you could sell that diamond and it offsets the cost pretty quickly. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you guys against the duplication glitch? Are you guys for it? Were you upset that they took out the easy method in 1.1.2? And do you plan to turn on airplane mode so you can play the game with all of the glitches without having to worry about the game updating? One thing that I'm really excited to see is just how speedrunners are able to break this game in the near future. There's been so many things found. The duplication glitch is just a small one compared to some of the other machines that are being made. So I look forward to seeing how this game progresses in the near future. I doubt that Nintendo is going to patch out all the fun, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Next up, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom scores #1 in the UK software sales for the 3rd week in a row. Now this is kind of expected. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is currently on top. They sold 10 million copies within its first 3 days, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. According to Go Nintendo, they said the full UK software sales for the last week haven't come in just yet, but we have a glimpse of some of the details, and Zelda is riding high. They said, and I quote, the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has taken the #1 spot for 2 weeks in a row, and that reign continues for the 3rd week as well. While sales have dropped 50% compared to the first 2 weeks of sales, that's still been enough to give Tears of the Kingdom the #1 overall again. Now here's the most interesting part. They said this has helped Tears of the Kingdom inch ever closer to closing in on Hogwarts Legacy as the biggest box game of the year after just 3 weeks, which is kind of mind-blowing. I recently rolled the credits on the main storyline for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I have to say that what a magnificent game. Nintendo really took everything from Breath of the Wild and then ramped it up to 12 and made one of my favorite games of all time. I think I'm almost close to saying that it's my favorite video game of all time, but I'll keep you guys updated in the future. Now, another thing that Tears of the Kingdom is doing in terms of sales is they're actually increasing the sales on Breath of the Wild, which I love seeing. Breath of the Wild being an incredible video game on the Nintendo Switch, getting even more love just because of the release of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo really knows how to make games, and I'm so excited to see what they do for the future of Tears of the Kingdom. Now, Now I'd like to talk about that real quick. So as you guys know, Nintendo released 2 DLCs for Zelda Breath of the Wild, the first one being the Trial of the Sword and the next one being Champion's Ballad. The question kind of remains what Nintendo is planning on doing with Tears of the Kingdom. What is Nintendo's DLC strategy for this game? Now we knew the DLC was coming for Breath of the Wild quite early on, and we've been kind of radio silent in terms of DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. Now we know that Tears of the Kingdom was actually spawned out of DLC for Breath of the Wild because their ideas were just too ambitious. Is that same thing going to happen with Tears of the Kingdom? Are we going to get 2 expansion packs, or is this the last we are going to see new release content for Zelda for the next 6 to 7 years? I certainly hope not, but it's really hard saying. There is a number of ways that they could take DLC for this game, and I'd be curious to see what they plan on doing. One of the great things that they did with Breath of the Wild with the Champion's Ballad DLC is they brought upon new challenges for us to complete, new puzzles with the new shrines that they added. They added the one-shot weapon at the start of the DLC that was really awesome. But like, what is Nintendo gonna do for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's DLC? Maybe we're gonna get new Sky Islands, or they might just do new shrines like they did with Breath of the Wild's DLC. Either way, if we look at this game realistically, I don't see how Nintendo wouldn't do DLC for this game. With how massive Tears of the Kingdom is, it only makes sense for them to try to capitalize on the sales success, and the best way to do that is to release $20 to $30 DLC. Now here's my thoughts in terms of announcement. We've got the Nintendo Direct that's coming up sometime this summer. We usually get something for June. Maybe we'll get like a Nintendo Summer Game Fest Direct, and if that's the case, I think that's where they're going to announce the expansion pass for DLC 1 and DLC 2 of Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo likes to do things that are proven, and one thing that has been proven is the DLC 1 and 2 updates for Breath of the Wild. So that's really why I think that it's a no-brainer that we're going to get DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. Next up, I'd like to talk about the future of the Zelda franchise. This is one of the biggest questions that a lot of people are asking themselves. How the heck did they pull off a game better than Breath of the Wild? I have no idea. But where do they take the game next? Do they plan to make a trilogy out of Tears of the Kingdom and release the next game on the same Hyrule map? This is all untreaded waters for the Zelda series. Having 2 games on the same map is already pretty mind-blowing, but thinking about a third is even more crazy to think about. Could they pull it off? Yes, I think they could, especially with how ambitious they were with the Sky Islands as well as the depths. But I think for the next game, they're going to try to go even bigger and reset the entire landscape of Breath of the Wild. Now, one thing that Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild did correct was they completely transcended what it meant to be an open world video game. Breath of the Wild setting the standard for open worlds. Tears of the Kingdom also setting the standard for open world plus being a sandbox game. And I think for the next game, we're going to see an amalgamation of the Zelda formula from back in Ocarina of Time and the new formula with Breath of the Wild, and the worlds I think are going to collide. Tears of the Kingdom did a great job of kind of bridging the gap between the two, but I think the next game in the Zelda series is going to go even bigger whenever it comes to the game's open world as well as the sandbox elements, but it's also going to take things back to how it used to be whenever it comes to the traditional dungeons. That way they can cater to the new game's open world formula as well as the traditional dungeon formula. Player choice and gameplay is Nintendo's #1 goal, and I think Hidemaro Fujibayashi and Eiji Aonuma have their work cut out for them, but I have no doubt that whatever they do is going to completely crush it and change the industry once again. And that leads us to our next bit of news that I'd like to talk about, and that is Tears of the Kingdom director Hidemaro Fujibayashi already has plans for the next Zelda. So they are already starting work on the next iteration of the Legend of Zelda series. So in a recent interview with the New York Times, interviewer Zachary Small stated on Twitter, who interviewed Fujibayashi, they said on Twitter, "Oh, and it seems like Fujibayashi already has plans for the next Zelda game, though he hasn't even told Aonuma about it yet." Now, I'm not saying that we should be excited about the next Zelda game already, but if you rolled the credits on Tears of the Kingdom, then you'll know that what they did with Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely mind-blowing, and it sets a very bright future for the Legend of Zelda series, and I cannot be more excited. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you plan on using the duplication glitch? Are you excited about DLC for Tears of the Kingdom? And what do you want for the next Zelda game? For me, it's gotta be even more sandbox elements. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Thank you all for watching. This has been Wes. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.